Paperboat, July 15, 2023. Take one. So, I thought 18 years wouldn't come by this quickly. Felt like yesterday when I was still that timid kid in first grade, or that overly sensitive kid in fourth grade, or that socially anxious kid in sixth grade, or that kid with toxicity in his veins in eighth grade, or that kid who recently realized that his childhood was ending and that he wanted to make the most of what was left. Yeah, I took time for granted for the most part, and now I find myself hugging my inner child tightly, whispering, I don't want to go yet. You missed out on so much, pal. I want to show you around more. I promised I'd make a film before I grow up. I was not made aware that it would come in this form, recording almost every single day of this significant summer. And I've come to embrace that this is the greatest form of film, where every moment captured is raw and the people aren't acting. This is genuine. Let this be a time capsule. I said that though the road of life may take me anywhere, I will always visit memory lane. So if I am ever watching this in the future, you, listen to me carefully. You had built up regrets, piles and piles, as a student, as a religious individual, as a friend, as a son, and as you. As a student, you realized how over the 4-year course of junior high school, you had limited yourself to the current square you were on. You did not take significant risks at all. You did not grab opportunities enough. You did not forge deeper relationships with the peers you were growing up with. And honestly, you didn't have much of a direction. You were simply swimming in hazardous waters with the flow of the river, without a care whether or not there was a cliff at the end. Where were you going? And as a member of the church, you would shy away from activities and would make excuses just to not make it. You had a belief, but kept it to a minimum and would rather stay there than search. You were easily swayed and influenced by your environment. Your faith wasn't the strongest. And as a friend, you saw relationships with the people around you as something funded on the measure of how fun it was. You built friendships on whether or not you enjoyed it. If you were to part ways with someone, most of the time it wouldn't even hurt too much. It may pinch your heart, but you'd get over it pretty quickly. That's not very nice because I expected you to feel pensive emotions when a character in your story leaves your book. As a son, you might have convinced yourself that you weren't unappreciative, when in reality you were taking a lot of your parents' love for granted. You loved them, but you would rather be quiet about it than let them feel it. You had a lot of shortcomings as a sole child, and you know it. As for you, it was a bit confusing. Sometimes I didn't love you. Sometimes it was only you who I could ever love. Selfish and selfless, nothing in between. It was either you left nothing for others, or you left nothing for me. I speak from the year 2023, when you leave high school, childhood, and home. Guess what? For the past 2 months, you have been chasing the days as if you were given until the end of July to live. You desire an endless summer, for each night to take its time coming by and for each day to feel like it was never ending. When the year began, you prayed to God and asked Him to make you experience the greatest change in your life just before your childhood fades. And He did, in the span of 55 days starting on the 21st of May. To you now, it is sentimental to say goodbye to your childhood in the best form you can be. You don't want to conclude it with regrets of missing out on the best that could ever happen. You want it to be significant. Though it is bittersweet, you believe that that is what makes it much special, because you know this will go down in your history as the summer that moved you. You want to grow up without carrying a stain. Be a new person, just as you stepped into adulthood. with skin and patches, thanks to those who became instruments in the attempt to transform you. Now, as a student, you find yourself remaining steadfast in the face of many obstructions and hindrances. You've become relentless. You knelt with a dream in mind, and you know you'll do whatever it takes. And so if it meant sacrificing blood, you would. Devastation may come your way, but that is the harsh reality of every seemingly peaceful adventure. Something is bound to disturb it. Tomorrow is always another day unique from those that come before it. Now you aspire to take risks. You have pinpointed destination years ahead. You want to be a certified public accountant. You want to go to Japan and take your master's degree at a law school. You want to be a filmmaker, a writer, or a musician on the side. You have dreams in mind, finally. And you thank God for giving you the chance to dream because it signals hope. You cannot deny, however, that it becomes intimidating from here because you now are an adult. It is scary. What is the unknown without uncertainty? You just have to take a leap of faith. It is a hazy path, but you know that clarity can be reached. It may take long, but it will be there. As a member of the church, you find yourself holding on to your faith for dear life now. It has become the greatest weapon you wield. You learn to have trust, though things seem uncertain. You learn to have hope, though things seem dire. You've put on armor upon armor and learned the art of resilience. You've lit your lantern and grown less afraid of the dark. That is what they have been teaching us at church after all. Trials and tribulations are trials and tribulations. They aren't the end of everything. If you were given the weight of the world, then you can carry the weight of the world. You are meant to carry the weight of the world on your shoulders. May it be on your chest too, on your knees, or on your feet. You wouldn't be given something you cannot take on. And you learn to deny yourself from all that is unworldly. Before you held a duty, you couldn't care less. But now you find yourself battling your way just to be present because it is what feeds your soul. You believe that it is not lost even if it costs your life. You from 3 years ago would not believe me if I told him you'd take it to your grave. He would ridicule and mock me. And now that you are on the verge of leaving a pivotal part of your youth as a firm believer, you cannot help but feel sorrow. The peers you grew up serving with, you'll be leaving them here. You'll be entrusting what you hold dearly now. Some are taking your place, some are leaving with you. Some you hope to see around once again. You pray nothing else for them but to treasure the same duties that built you, because it has taught you more than the world. You pray for them to edify one another and be there for one another and forgive one another shoulders to shoulders and for them to never slip away. You would wish to be there to witness them grow, but that is not for you to decide. Just entrust them. Ihabilin mo. And as a friend, I wish you found the courage to show affection towards friends sooner. Warmth wouldn't have felt so long to receive, and you wouldn't have been so desperate for time to stand still because it is too soon. I wish you have always treated your friendships like bridges, because you love bridges. Like that one you always desire to be on because it lets you relive a special discovery with a friend, the discovery of something great, the discovery of the art in the mundane. I wish you have always seen their company as sunshine because you love that too. Like the dawn you found yourself chasing because you so desperately want to see the sun wake from its sleep. You found brothers and sisters, something you never got growing up. It feels nice, doesn't it? In the summer of 2023, you find yourself waking up at sunrise when the town is barely awake to meet a friend and go for a walk somewhere that make you feel free from the heaviness of having to leave. You find yourself buying gifts as forms of remembering, and you find yourself with so much eagerness to see them because you want to talk to them. They make you sing in shades of yellow. You started enjoying the things you took for granted growing up, like the rain, dye-stained hands, the beauty of the sun, heart-to-heart conversations, and time taking its time. Capturing the simplest of moments with them now because they feel like old friends from when you were little, though you've only seen the warmth in them in as little as just a year ago. Too soon. You love seeing the morning sun with them, but so do you love sundown because it is the time you get to ponder life and appreciate the times when everything just falls to silence. At the end of the day, though, you know that you will end up leaving them once the summer ends too soon. And so you tell them, never be a stranger. We can take different paths and not talk for days, weeks, or months on end, but please, oh please, never be a stranger. You are the brothers and the sisters I never had. We are akin by soul. I pray for you, requesting for your greatest success and for your greatest happiness because that is what friends do for each other. These are your halcyon days, and I hope you tell them always to never forget to catch glimpses of the sunset. Stare at the sky at twilight when it shows the faces of purple, as though distance comes in between. To be able to glance at something from somewhere, sometime in the present is beautiful. As a son, say it with me. I love being one. Today, I am not afraid to tell you, mother and father, how I love you. If I was silent then on my love, now I am not. I hope you trust that everything I say is genuine, because I know that me being expressive has such an unfamiliar scent, not just to you, but to the people around me. I will not lie, we may not have the most similar of interests because of the gap in our generations, but I hold my utmost desire to tell you about everything that interests me and listen to everything that interests you. Please do trust me that even though your kid may be no more, I still hold my roots. I am not me without the two of you. Sometimes I wish I wasn't an only child so that you wouldn't feel too lonely when I'm away. But this is the reality of our family. I may enjoy the company of my fears, especially those I treat as family too. But your blood, we share the same river that flows in us and nothing replaces it. I wish I found the courage to speak like this before, and I wish I wasn't afraid to show you my love. My prayer for you is that you entrust me to God, and that even if you leave my side, your teachings and your advice will remain with me through thick and thin. Soon I may have my mind focused elsewhere when I'm all grown up, and that is reality. But I will always consider you as the true home I grew up with. You are my first best friends. I promise I will take care of you when your bones become rigid, when illnesses befall you, or when the melancholia of growing old starts hunting your hearts too. Because you sheltered me, taught me, kissed me, hugged me, and comforted me, though I may have took those for granted. You will not be a burden. I forbid to forget. You will and always are my folks, and I will love you unconditionally. Thank you, because as a child, you taught me how to pray. It is the greatest gift I could ever receive from anyone from this world. As for you, myself, you were a paper boat, innocent and fragile to the waves of life. You almost sank, buddy. You were almost swept away by the tides. But here you are, hands pruned, hair all musty, and skin reeks of the sea. Your heart will always be paper-skinned, though you are a kid no longer. Love yourself, please, but not too much. Give what you can, but never leave yourself with nothing. You are strong, durable, though you cry a lot. You cry, but you still follow through, and that's a sign of how firm your stance is. Because though the waves are violent, you set your sail no matter what. Take more risks and never hold back from your aspirations. Traverse the vast if you have to, because nothing grows on concrete. Improve yourself little by little. You're getting there. Comb your hair a little differently today. Wake up early, go for walks even on your own. Savor the taste of food and smile with your eyes and with your teeth, though your grin may be crooked. Wear the colors that radiate your spirits, and be yourself in pictures. Witness the perfect sunrise and love the downtime after dark every day. Discover and fall in love with the arts of life and of everything under the sun. Be kind and forgiving no matter what. Do not hold poison in your heart, though this world may convince you that the greatest satisfaction is the relief of anger and grudges. Love your family and the kin of your soul you treat like one too, and tell them and write them poems of stories of every day and every night that passes. Speak And right, there may be too much to say, though silence is art, because you might never see someone again after you part. Jump in the rain like the child you were. Be infinite. Embrace the scorch of the sun, the cut of 1,000 grass blades. Find majesty in the little things. Go for walks in your spare time. View the world differently every now and then. Never miss a split second. Carry your cross on your shoulder because it is your salvation. Live with the faith that winter eventually thaws and summer arrives. That the absence today will eventually be filled with presents tomorrow. And every day live like it is your last because you never know if you'll wake up for another. This is a prodigious time, and though you wish for time to stand still, you still love that it is happening. You are my company until the end of our lifetime. Now you are all grown up. You and I are voyagers sharing this vessel until the end of our crusade. Thank you, with all my heart and with all my youth.